In continuation to the previously published videos, the next phylum is Chytridiomycota. This is actually the phylum that comes under true fungi because what the phylum what we have discussed earlier and the previous videos, that is we can take Plasmodioporomycota, that is actually comes under protozoa, right? And when we take Omycota, this actually comes under Chromista or Straminophila, right? They're not true fungi, are they fungi like organisms. Now this is one of the phylum that is a Chytridiomycota. It is actually a true fungi that is classified under true fungi. In cricketal classification, it is actually classified under true fungi. Before also, it is actually classified under true fungi only. Okay. Now we will see what are all the different general characters, their properties, important fungi that comes under this Chytridiomycota. I'm Anand Shankar Reddy, PhD plant pathology. In cricketal classification, as I said previously, we saw this protozoa, that is a club root of cabbage and various other kinds of diseases, classes, orders, various other kinds of things we have saw, right? And in Womycota also we have gone through in detail, like Pythium, Phytophthora, different kinds of downy mildews, and lead blight of potato, and all the various other kinds of things, and the important things that is related to Womycota, right? Now we are going to see the phylum fungi. In fungi, the first and foremost phylum is Chytridiomycota or Chytridiomycota. You can pronounce it however you want, but it's generally Chytridiomycota. Okay. Now we will see the general characters and all those things. So before going to this general characters, let's have some common properties or the important features that we must keep it into mind. Generally, Chytridion means it is a Greek word. Generally, it means little pot because they produce a pot-like structure. That's why it's called as Chytridion or Chytridiomycota group of fungi. And they are very important or specialized by means of production of motile stages, or generally the juice pores are motile. Generally, the Chytridiomycota group of fungi produces a posterior kind of whiplash flagellum. So what is posterior? Anterior means the flagella is upward direction. Posterior means the flagella is downward direction. Whiplash means without hair. So flagella consists of no hair like structures or small fibrils, right? And tinsel means with hair, since there since it is mentioned as a posterior whiplash, which means flagella is a downward direction where it consists of no hair. This is called a whiplash type of, sorry, posterior whiplash type of flagella. Posterior means downward, whiplash means without hair. And this entire life cycle is another important point is like the production of motile stages, that to uniflagellate posterior whiplash type of flagellum. If we see our previous videos, like we have published a video regarding the flagella, types of flagella. There we have discussed Chytridiomycota, Hypochytridiomycota, Plasmodioporomycota, Womycota, the kind of the juice spores are the kind of the motile spores that they produce, the kind of flagellation, all those things that we have published in the previous videos. Just take a look at it. And anyway, the second character is the production of motile stages, or the production of uniflagellate posterior juice pores are one of the important. And another important point is all the members of this Chytridiomycota act as a vectors in transmitting of plant viral diseases, except one or two groups, like you can take Plasmodioporomycota, a couple of fungi from Plasmodioporomycota, and again this Chytridiomycota act as a vectors in transmitting of plant viral diseases. Generally, majority of the plant viral diseases are known to transmit by insect vectors. Majority of the plant viral disease, right? And fungi is very rare in transmitting of plant viral disease. You can take other groups of fungi like Ascomycota and Basidiomycota. We never see in any fungi that is known to transmit plant viral diseases, but very few members like Plasmodioporomycota and this Chytridiomycota. Chytridiomycota is one of the important family. So the members of this family act as a vectors for transmitting of plant viral diseases. That is a very important one. And they produces a cenocytic thallus. Again, cenocytic means, so the thallus consists of no septation, that is called a cenocytic thallus. Oh, here the thallus, like generally consists of rhizomycelium. What is rhizomycelium? Means a network of rhizoids. What is rhizoids? Generally in rhizoids we do study in Zygomycota group of fungi. So rhizoids means some kind of anchoring or some kind of air, finger-like structures that can be observed at the base of the fungi, right? So generally this rhizomycelium generally means network of rhizoids are generally called as rhizomycelium. You forget about this rhizomycelium and all those things. So cenocytic means generally the thallus or the mycelium consists of no septations in the no septations or no cross walls. Take a look at this hypha, right? So if the cross walls are present, it is called a septate. If there is no cross walls, it is called aseptate. We can also call it cenocytic thallus or cenocytic mycelium. So this members of this Chytridiomycota produces no such kind of cross walls. That's what it produces cenocytic thallus. Here this thallus may be three types. It is a very important one: endobiotic, epibiotic, and interbiotic. What is endobiotic? Endo means the name itself indicates actually the thallus grows inside the host. That's why it's called endo. Actually the thallus grows inside the host. It is called as endobiotic. What is epibiotic? If the thallus is growing outside or externally, it is called as epibiotic. I would say one more thing. Generally the fungus in epibiotic type, the fungus actually grows outside the host, but it will send their host to, sorry, it will send their rhizoids inside the host. So generally endobiotic means the thallus grows outside. Sorry, endo means the thallus grows inside. Epibiotic means the thallus grows outside, but it will send rhizoids inside the host. The last one is the interbiotic. Inter means in between. It actually act as an attachment to the many hosts. Many number of hosts can be attached by this interbiotic. Generally, this interbiotic means through rhizomycelium or the connection through the network of rhizoids, it will connect one host to another host. Let me come once again. It will produce cenocytic thallus, which is of three types. Endobiotic, where the thallus grows outside. Epibiotic means endobiotic means the thallus grows inside. Epibiotic means the thallus grows outside, but it will send the rhizoids inside. Interbiotic means it will actually helps as attachment to the many hosts through this rhizomycelium. Now the next question is, what is rhizomycelium? Generally it is a network of rhizoids is called as a rhizomycelium. And the another point is a zygote which converts into the resting spore or a resting sporangium. During zygote or the copulation of male and female gametes, it will produce zygote, right? So zygote, right, will converts into the resting spore or the resting sporangium. So these are all some common features. Now we will see the general characters of this Chytridiomycota group of fungi. Of course, we can in the previous slide the couple of things we can that things also we can consider it as general characters, but there are also some important common features. They commonly are mostly occurs on aquatic, which means they mostly occurs on water. And even though although there are a couple of fungi which actually grow on soil inhabiting, the most important one is, as I told you, posterior whiplash type of flagella. Posterior means downward, whiplash means without hair. Posterior whiplash type of flagella is one of the most distinguishing feature of this Chytridiomycota. Here the cell wall is made up of chitin, as like of other fungi. All the fungal cell wall is made up of chitin, right? So cell wall is made up of chitin, except few members. Mycota group is cellulose, right? And a couple of very few members of this Chytridiomycota, it is also reported that cellulose containing it contains cellulose, but majority of the members contains chitin. So asexual reproduction takes place by sporangium, whereas sexual reproduction takes place by means of various other kinds of things like planogametic copulation, like maybe anisogamy or isogamy, or maybe heterogamy, or maybe oogamy kind of sexual reproduction can be observed. And generally fertilization takes place between non-motile gametes, that is a non-motile female gametes, and the motile male gametes, that is called antherzoid, right? So this is generally the reproduction takes place. And a couple of important members are like Olephidium, Syncytrium, Physoderma. So these are all the important members of this this Chytridiomycota. And in detail we are going to discuss about this Olephidium and Syncytrium, what kind of disease it will cause. But generally remember this Physoderma geomydes that causes a disease in maize. Okay. In cricketal classification, there are two important classes are there. It is a very important one. And one more point I actually forgot. We have discussed this rhizomycelium, right? General network of rhizoids, right? Again, this rhizomycelium is of two types: monocentric and polycentric. Monocentric means they're having only one kind of reproductive structure. Mono means single kind of reproductive structure. Polycentric means where they are having multiple reproductive structures or many number of reproductive structures, that is called as polycentrics. So actually these reproductive structures are never produced in a tufts or like a bunches. They never produced in a bunches, but even though they were scattered somewhere, like, and they used to connect by using this rhizoidal hyphae, that is called rhizomycelium. Connection of my rhizoids called rhizomycelium, right? So even though they appear in a scattered, but they used to connect by using this rhizoidal mycelium. Coming to this classification, in cricketal classification, there are two important classes are there. One is Chytridiomycetes and the second one is Monoblepharomycetes. Again, this Chytridiomycetes are two types, Chytridiales and Spilomycetes, and all those things now we will see in detail. If we take a look at it, this Chytridiales are two important fungi, one important fungi, potato wart, Syncytrium endobioticum, and the members of Spizellomycetales, they're actually Wolfidium brassicae, act as a vectors in transmitting of plant viral disease. Not only this Wolfidium brassicae, but also potato wart, this Syncytrium also known to associated with plant viral diseases. Now we will see in detail about each and every class and order. As I told you, two classes, right? One is Chytridiomycetes and Monoblepharidiomacetes. And Chytridiomycetes consists of three orders. One is Chytridiales, second one is Rhizophidiales, and the third one is Spizellomycetales. When it comes to Monoblepharidiomacetes, it consists of only one order, that is Monoblepharidales. Now we will see in detail. The first one will start with Chytridiales. Yeah, Chytridiomycetes, the order is Chytridiales. Order ends with Chytridiales, right? Here, a couple of important points we must take into consideration when it comes to this Chytridiales. The thallus is monocentric or polycentric. Just now we have discussed what is monocentric. Monocentric means if the thallus is having only one kind of reproductive structure, it is called monocentric. If the thallus is having more than one number or multiple number of reproductive structures, it is called as polycentric. Here it is mentioned as Chytridiales, the thallus is maybe monocentric or polycentric. It is of monocentric or polycentric. Okay, and the juice pores, the juice pores consist of various kinds of structure. If you take a look at the ultra structure of juice pores, just imagine the ultra structure. This is the juice pore, just an overview of the juice pore. So this juice pore consists of aggregations of ribosomes are there, protein synthesis, and endoplasmic reticulum will be there, and along with nucleus, it is actually associated with the nucleus. And one more important thing is it is a consist of M.L.C, which means microbody lipid globular complex. So lipid globular complex is also present in this the juice pore of Chytridius. And two mitochondria and one rhombosom is present. What is this rhombosom? We might have heard in somewhere else, right? So generally this rhombosom is like a tooth-like section, or maybe we can call it as a honeycomb-like section. Take a look at it. This is a tooth-like section or honeycomb-like section that will be actually lies in one part of the one part of the flagella, especially actually lies microtubules, or it all will get attached. But generally the rhombosom means it is a tooth-like sections or honeycomb-like structures that we can observe in the inside the flagella. That is an important point. The sexual reproduction is generally a resting sporangium, and that is actually formed by the planogametic copulation. Planogametic copulation, there are three types are there, right? So planogametic copulation, and again this Chytridiales consist of four families. We're not going to discuss everything about all the families or all the orders and all those things. So the only important or what is that is important or pathological importance, all those things, that kind of things only we are going to discuss. So the four families, Chytridiaceae and Cladochytridiaceae and Endochytridiaceae, and the last one is the Syncytriaceae. Now we are going to discuss only Syncytriaceae, very 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 important one. The Syncytriaceae, which consists of 5 different genera and 120 species are there. So among all those things, one important generium is Syncytrium, which causes a disease called potato wart. Potato wart is caused by Syncytrium endobioticum. Now we'll see something in detail about this potato wart. So this potato wart is caused by Syncytrium endobioticum, which is actually in India it is restricted to a district or area called Darjeeling. It is there in West Bengal. So this potato wart is actually also falls under a disease called endemic disease, which means the disease is confined or present in a particular area, or maybe a particular locality, or maybe a particular state, or maybe a particular district, like that, right? So this is a best example for endemic kind of diseases, and this actually potato wart comes under a domestic quarantine. And as I told you, the members of this Chytridiomycota serves as a vector for plant viral diseases. When it comes to this potato wart, Synchytrium endobioticum serves as a vector for potato virus X and also potato mop top virus, the very important one. We'll see the life cycle. I'm not going in detail. Basic information I will give you. Here, the potato wart life cycle was first discovered by Czechoslovakia in 1888 and later in Hungary 1895. In India, it was first reported by Ganguly and Paul in 1953 from especially Darjeeling district of West Bengal. Since now it is especially confined to the area for Darjeeling, that's what it actually comes under endemic disease. So if you take a look at the symptoms, the infected tubers or the infected potato tubers, they are producing some kind of cauliflower like outgrowths or some kind of warty outgrowths, some kind of cauliflower. You take a look at this, exactly look like cauliflower, right? So that's why it is called as cauliflower like outgrowth or some kind of warty like outgrowth, just because of hypertrophy kind of reasons. And the infection will spread very rapidly and the entire tissue got infected. So this Synchytrium endobioticum is generally an obligate parasite. As we discussed, it is a endobiotic parasite which produces no mycelium. So there are two kinds of reproduction, right? Sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. This life cycle is more or less similar, look like to Plasmodium porobraski. I'm not going in detail. We'll start with the juice spore. The juice spores actually survives in soil by getting a little amount of a thin film of water. It will start to move towards the roots, which means if it is get a thin film of water by using flagella, it will start to move towards the root, because the roots will produce some kind of substances that will attract the spores. So benzoiron derivatives in the cases of Phanerogon plant parasite, in the means of this spores, it can also sense the some kind of metabolite substances that is produced by the roots. So with the thin film of water, it will start to swim towards the root, and somehow it will get attached to the host surface or root surface. Slowly what will happen, the June spores start penetrating by shedding the flagella outside, and then once it is entering into that, it will produce some kind of amoeboid kind of structure that is called maybe prosporus, and then it will start developing, like repeated divisions will happen, and the single zoospore will produce a lot number of zoospores. That is generally called as prosorus, with 4 to 9 membrane will produce. At final, the end of the process will produce around 200 to 300 nuclei, and again, like protoplasmic material will get separated and everyone will start to behave like a new juice spores. This is actually the asexual cycle. Coming to the sexual cycle, take a look at that. Sexual reproduction is by means of isogamous type. Isogamous means where both male and female gametes are iso, means the same size and same shape, but physiologically they are different. And plasmogamy, that is takes place, plasmogamy and karyogamy takes place where these two gametes they mix together, and the diploid zygote is formed. Zygote is diploid, right? And then again the resting during unfavorable time, it will into a resting structure. Again, when the favorable environmental conditions will occurs, again it will start to divide and will produce juice spores, and the cycle will continue, sexual and asexual cycle. Coming to the mode of spread, generally it will produce juice spores. Okay, favorable time is favorable environmental is 12 to 24 degree Celsius, and where the sporangia can able to survive in soil around 20 to 30 years. And some of the resistant varieties like Kufri Kanchara and Kufri Sherpa and Kufri Jyot, these are all a couple of resistant varieties. And the steam sterilization of soil, that is not possible. How can we steam sterilize, right? And along with the soil application of mercury chloride, it is a banned fungicide. We do not recommend. Ammonium copper sulfate and maybe formalin, that can be recommended, that is effective in soil treatment. Yeah, coming to the next order, rhizophidials. They actually grows in living and as well as dead plants, and also living substrate also they will grow. Some of the important species of this rhizophidials is like Sparotheca, Keratophyllum, and Planktonicum. These are all the three important species, and there are three families are there: Kappa mycetaceae and Rhizophiomycetaceae, Terra mycetaceae. So these are general families we are not going to discuss in detail about, because there is not that much pathological importance. Yeah, the next order is Spizellomystils. In the members of the Spizellomystils, the sexual reproduction is actually unknown, but there are three families are there. Collocytidaceae, Olphidiaceae, and Spizellomystidaceae, and we are going to discuss about this Olphidiaceae because it is a very important one. Yeah, this old feed essay generally it contains around 40 species are known. There are 40 species are have been reported so far, and it is a very important one. The members of this old feed essay, all the members of this old feed essay act as a vector for plant viral diseases. There are a couple of species I mentioned here: Olphidium Bronovenus, Olphidium brassicae, common insect vector, Olphidium brassicae, and Olphidium virulentus. If you take a look at Olphidium bronovorum, cucumber necrosis virus, cucumber leaf spot virus, and cucumber soil mosaic virus, they are known to transmit by this Olphidium bronovirus. And when it comes to Olphidium brassicae, very important one, tobacco necrosis virus, lettuce ring necrosis virus, they are known to transmit by this Olphidium. Coming to Olphidium virulentus, lettuce bigween virus, and tobacco stunt virus, these are all the two examples that is known to be transmitted by this Olphidium virulentus. Generally, Olphidium species. It is a very important genera that is known to transmit plant viral disease, or one very important fungal genera that act as a vectors in transmitting of plant viral diseases. The last one, Monoblepharidiomacetes. There is only one order is there, Monoblepharales, and they're the highest evolved members of the centroid Chytridiomycetes when compared to the previously discussed fungi. These are all the highest evolved members with a well-developed mycelial thallus, heterogamy kind of sexual reproduction, presence of rumposome in the juice pores, and all those things. They're the well-developed one. There are two important genera are there in this Monoblepharidials, and Monoblepharis and as well as Monoblephariella. These are all the two important genera that comes under this. And along with this, if we take a look at this overall structure, some common feature we do recall generally called as Chytridian or pot fungi, right? And endobiotic or epibiotic kind of the thallus is maybe endobiotic, which means grows inside the host. Epibiotic means attached external and send the rhizoids inside. Interbiotic means it help to attach the in between the host, especially we do observe in a fungi called polyphagus, right? So the such kind of things are there, and along with micro body lipid globular like complexes, along with ribosomes are present, and the important point is the rumphosomes are present. What is this rumposome? We have discussed, right, already, some toothbrush or some kind of toothbrush hairline kind of structures which are present in the flagella, right? So these are all the some important features we do take into consideration. This is all about Chytridiomycota. For further guidance and information, student may refer this book, A Vision into Plant Pathology, complete student version. Further guidance and doubts, so student can reach us at www.geekyresearcher.com. Stay geeky and stay tuned. We are Team Geeky Researchers.